Tales of Fantasia. This podcast was recorded on the lands of the Ningyubu people of the Bundjalung Nation. I'd like to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of this land and recognise that sovereignty was never ceded. Hello and welcome back to Tales of Fantasia. My name is Sine and I am here with you today to share my review of an advanced reader copy of Dead Horizon by Rachel Jones. Now, this is my first Rachel Jones book that I've ever read. Rachel is an Australian indie author who specialises in sci-fi, horror and speculative fiction. And Dead Horizon is a story of human survival against all odds. It is an interplanetary sci-fi with a thriller element to it. And it was so well crafted. I really, really enjoyed this book. So I discovered Rachel through my friend Tiff, Devourer of Words, Instagram. Tiff is on Rachel's street team and I'd seen her recommend Rachel's books. And so I signed up for an arc of this book when I saw the ad go up and was lucky enough to be approved. And I'm so glad that I got to read this story because I am just blown away by Rachel's craftsmanship in this book. So Dead Horizon is novella length. It's 125 pages. It was a really quick and easy read. It's a really accessible sci-fi book with really simple language in it that's really easy to grasp the concepts that are being laid out in this book. Now, it is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi, so society has collapsed. The climate crisis has killed off humanity and a lot of humans have been sent off in spaceships, one of them being the Australia, which is where this story takes place, for 8 centuries travel to a distant planet to start anew, start fresh, start civilization over again on a distant planet in a distant solar system. And so this story follows Eva, who is a botanist or a xenobotanist, so like alien botanist, and she's on board the Australia as it makes first contact with the new world that the Earth civilization's supposed to, set up their new civilization on. Eva is in grief because her boyfriend, who was part of the crew of the Australia, is MIA and she believes him to be dead. And so this story really follows Eva's kind of will to survive and banding together for survival with other humans on the Australia, even through her grief, wanting humanity to persist and wanting humanity to go on and wanting to be a part of something bigger than herself. I'm always blown away by people who are authors who write novellas because there is so much skill that goes into crafting a story, especially I think in a genre like sci-fi where you have to have world building embedded in your story. So to be able to world build, have a sophisticated plot, a sophisticated emotional arc or personal arc or character development arc going on, as well as cohesively bring together the plot of a story in 125 pages takes real skill, and Rachel has absolutely nailed it in this book. I sat and just devoured this story in one sitting. I literally was just sat on the couch for hours just reading until I got to the end of the book, and I easily could have read it if it was 2 or 3 times the length, but I just need to commend Rachel for her skill in being able to completely deliver the story in 125 pages. I was absolutely blown away and just really, really enjoyed the book for what it was and the length that it was. So in this story, they land on this new world and then they're cataloguing the flora and fauna of this new world that they're on. It's got marked differences to Earth, so day and night last a lot longer than what Earth's day and night did, and so they're all just trying to adapt to this new way of being. Daytime lasts a couple of weeks, so the first couple of weeks that they're on planet, everything seems to be going quite peachy, and then nighttime falls and something happens that changes everything. There is something attacking the crew of the ship, and they're in grave danger, and they need to find a way off the planet with the ship that they're being on having only ever been made for one-way travel. So they've landed on planet and they actually can't relaunch the ship to get off this planet that is so incredibly dangerous when nighttime falls. The suspense and the pacing of this book were absolutely perfect. I have no criticisms of this book, to be completely honest with you. You know that I'm a critical reader normally. I have no criticisms of Dead Horizon. It was just immaculately put together. There was one little element with a certain character, Lucas Thomas, who, or Lucas, I can't remember his name, Lucas, and the way that Eva handles the situation with Lucas that I didn't really like. But I think that that was a very intentional kind of way of dealing with that plot point by Rachel Jones. We're not supposed to like the way that Eva deals with that. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable, but it also really makes sense for her character because she's been put into this really abnormal situation where she's having to process and think on her feet and do things that she wouldn't ordinarily do. And so it makes sense that there would be a lag in her judgment or a lapse in her judgment, and that maybe she wouldn't handle the situation perfectly. And I think in so many books that are sci-fi or fantasy, we expect the hero to just take up that mantle and do the things that they've never done before and muddle their way through and make perfect decisions. And that's a really unrealistic thing for us to expect of these characters. So in the end, I actually really enjoyed that Eva kind of fumbles a bit in the start when she's kind of taking up this leadership role, because I felt like it was really real and reflective of what anyone would do in that sort of situation. So yeah, no criticisms of this story whatsoever, and I am going out to buy Under a Fractured Sky, which is Rachel's other book that she has out, and read that as soon as possible, because I think Rachel has just won a fan for life in me. If you enjoyed this review, please like this video, comment, subscribe to my channel. If you're listening to this on one of the podcast platforms, thank you so much for listening. If you can subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And if you would be able to leave a review of the podcast, you have no idea how much that would mean to me. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back next week for another review.